Let's seize the opportunity.
The Master at Arms is barking orders. Confessor Adelbert is murmuring a prayer, and the Infernus Master is circling the chapel with a keen eye as is watching for a threat. Kibla quickly sweeps her gaze over her destruction before focusing on the bloody footprints that stretches from the ruins of the reliquary. The high factotum velvet coat is streaked with blood, and Giannis himself is deathly pale. A medical officer is working on the black gunshot wound on his chest, and Giannis grunts faintly with every touch. He focuses his eyes on you with tremendous effort. Forgive me for not greeting your lordship with a bow. I must tell you, Nemesis has stolen the great relic. Nemesis, yet another spin of this old wives' tale. This old wives' tale was blessed with amazing corporeality. Whoever the bastard is in the red scarf was, he went by the name and spoke very impertinently, your lordship. He dared to threaten you and promised that for every dead serf from the Foundry Bay, 3 occupants of the upper decks would perish. Despicable villain. Just another arrogant rebel wrapping himself in a crimson rag and wreaking havoc for the adoration of the commoners. Not this time. No one has ever dared to raid the upper decks before. Never in the ship's history has the fury of the rabble been so blind and fierce. Giannis, what happened here? Sirs in the red headscarves burst into the chapel and started shooting. The leader made for the relic, the remains of the honourable rogue trader brought here from the mutant Sulit crypt. And when I realized that the sacred ashes of your ancestors were about to fall into the filthy hands of the heretic, one intent of desecrating the glorious dynasty, no, that could not be allowed to happen. I blocked his path. Giannis briefly closed his eyes, gathered his strength. The bastard allowed himself a few vile insults against me, which I'm obliged to omit, but I did not give in to the provocation. I was hoping to buy myself some time. Then the so-called Nemesis started revealing the customs of the ship, bearing his officers and enforcers, before insulting the very name of your lordship yourself. I threw my glove in his face and demanded a duel, but the honourless villain just shot me. He laughed at me, the depraved creature. He winces either from the new burst of pain or from the memory of the humiliation he has recently endured. And then the commanding sacrilege, by stealing the relic of the shattering the sarcophagus. Forgive me, your lordship, I have failed to preserve the sacred ashes of your ancestors. Inspect the empty altar behind him. The reliquary has been brutally smashed, and the bed on which the sacred ashes of the rogue trader and the servant once rested is now empty. How exactly did he insult me? I beg forgiveness, your lordship. I dare not repeat this slander. I insist. What did he say about me? He called you a ghoul who sits on the throne of bones, feasting on the raw flesh of his servants. Forgive me, your lordship. Merely repeating these foul words is making me ill. Why did you wish to see me so urgently? I had to apologize to you. I had to repent. He grimaces bitterly. For many years I did my best to save the dynasty, but at the most crucial hour I failed. Shame scorches my pathetic cowardly heart, your lordship. I had to tell you how deeply remorseful I am. I will not forget. You failed to apprehend either the criminals or the relics. Were you even trying? The factotum drops his head on his chest, unable to bear the crushing weight of his shame any longer. How badly is he wounded? He's losing a lot of blood. The Medicare of a cast a worried look at you. I advise you to hurry. Master Darnock should be on the surgeon's table as soon as possible. I am holding on, your lordship. Worry not. What matters now is that you recovered the relic. The factotum groans as the Medicare officer pulls the blood-soaked bandages aside and shakes his head dolefully. So miracle preserved Master Darnock's life long enough that he might address you. His fate now rests in the hands of the Emperor. May his mercy to his selfless man. Heinrich, did you see the attack? I did not. I was on my way to the officer to offer a prayer when I heard gunfire and ran as fast as I could. When I got here, I saw Master Darnock, and I think the next thing I did was just to press his wound and spout curses. Heinrich looks at his bloodied hands in confusion. So much for being a heroic repairman. I wasn't much use, was I? Damn you, Jocasta, how did the renegades manage to sneak all the way up to the upper decks? Sauerback mutters through clenched teeth. They had help. We have discovered the hidden corpses of several chapel attendees. The traitors took their clothes and led Nemesis and his accomplices straight past the patrol. Confessor Adalbert ruefully shook his head. They were good people, pious people. They never cited as serving their lives. Why punish them? His face grows darker. I swear that this innocence will be avenged. May the Emperor be witness. I will strangle the Nemesis with my own 2 hands. May the Emperor protect you. The factotum eye rolls back as his enormous frame gives a convulsive shudder. The Medicare officer snatches a syringe of stimulant and speaks decisively. Apologies, your lordship, but we are taking Master Darnock away. He is unable to tell you anything more at present, and every second of delay could cost him his life. Heinrich watches the limp body of Factotum get carried away and chew grimly on the Ico stick that has appeared between his teeth. So what do we have so far? Master Darnock is on his deathbed, and all attackers are either dead or have absconded along with the sacred relic. And the witnesses all agree on this one thing. Nemesis and his accomplices came out of nowhere and struck suddenly. Only the throne knows where we can find these bastards now. We will find them, Sauerback voices is full of terrible fury. We'll turn this vessel inside and out if we must. There is nowhere even a void rat can. There is no need. The Blood Whisperer will lead us to Nemesis. Kibala words make the two exchange puzzled glance. See, Jocasta, it seems to me that your enforcers could learn much from these death cultists. Undoubtedly, Lord Captain, she presses her lips into a thin line. Perhaps the Servant of Death will share her insights that we might all understand what happened here and what should we do next. The Blood Whisperer, did she perform another divination? Yes and no. His tarot guided me here and told me of the evil that lurked in the shrine. But beyond that, the bloody path carelessly tread by the raiders will reveal the truth. With all due respect, Spinner, the enforcers have already questioned all the witnesses and complied an extensive list of evidence, none of which tell us anything about how or where the troublemaker calling himself Nemesis might have escaped to. Kibala, tell us what you know. Kibala sharply turns face of crimson splashes on the floor and walls of the shrine. Her pupils dilate, threatening to drown her irises in darkness. Her expression turns distant, her voice becoming low and strange. This blood is drawn in a pattern of retribution. The one who spilled it appeared later. They moved swiftly and furiously, numb to their own wounds. An enforcer who was drawn to the gunfire and witnessed the sacrilege? Probably. As for this pattern, Kibala points to a barely visible chain of scarlet droplets. It was made in fury and desperation. The one who left it was wounded, but they did not flee. They fought back what they could, and then they retreated into the darkness. Kibala's eyes close and she falls silent, and she exhales sharply and points a steel claw into the darkness of the maintenance tunnels hidden within the walls of the shrine. If the attackers have escaped through the maintenance tunnels, we can send in the enforcers after them. technical corridors extend hundreds of meters in different directions. Nemesis and his men must be familiar with the tunnels and possess either a map or a guide. Without a clear trail, the enforcers risk getting lost and wasting valuable time, not to mention the fact that those narrow tunnels are perfect for the ambush. And you glanced off this from a couple of Bloodstain, or did you have a vision? There is no need for revelation from the Undying Emperor here. For one who has dedicated her life to understanding the tenets of the web, Death speaks a language clearer than any word. Blood writes the chronicle of the final hour, and it holds all the answers. It speaks to me. It can tell me with what instrument it was built, what its owner felt whenever they struggled in terror or were as cold as the steel of blades, and what moment and how the thread snapped. For a spinner, no two wounds are alike, and each scarlet drop carries a message from the Undying One. I'm glad she's now aside, and he scratches the back of his head, smiling wearily. So we still have no idea where they went. The tunnels also answer the question of how he left. How Death will tell us now. The Death will tell us where he was headed. As if in a trance, Kibala leans over her body and peers into its eyes. He stinks of smoke, the smoke of singed coveralls, vile icosticks, burnt sacred unguents, and charred meat. She slides a pale hand along the dead man's skin and snakes it under the sleeve of his coveralls, which she pushes back to reveal a fresh burned bandage with a torn scrap shirt. Her steel claw dig into the dead man's arm. Your wound holds the answer. You dressed it carefully, not inside a shrine. Before that, something struck you, ripped the tissue apart, burned you, turned your hand into a worthless lump. It was not fire, no. Drawing a ragged breath, Kibala opens her eyes. The fury of the conductive charge. It has marked you, heretic. I recognize your wound, for I myself have encountered it on those I take to the other side within the plasma drive chambers. The plasma drive chambers, are you certain? The Undying One has blessed me with the ability to see the truth in death. How can anyone doubt the revelation his blessing bestows? I can't say if it's worth drawing conclusion based on a conversation with the corpse, but if it is, then I occur with the esteemed spinner's findings. The Infernal's master spits out the chewed up ilko and immediately produces another. All that about burns, the conductive charge, and the smell of cheap ichor immediately made me think of the plasma drive technical compartments. Makes sense to me. Well, Sabak and the enforcers will follow Nemesite's trail. No, Domin Veroth, you must stay. You are the one that Nemesis has charged, and those we hunt know you by sight. You will frighten away the prey, and we will lose the trail until the next strategy occurs. Kibala's unblinking gaze meets your own. So what do you suggest? I will go to the plasma drive chambers alone. I will track down the false champion and all who serves him, and I will prepare the grounds for your own hunt. Out of the question. An enforcer squad was certainly scared of the vermin, but I'm not letting you go alone, servant of death. You and I will go to the chambers together, and together we will bring down all who have dared to insult the Lord Captain. I'm going to have a couple of good friends in the plasma drive chamber, the noisy kind who knows everything about everyone. Convincing them shouldn't be difficult, especially if I pull a few favors. I'll be the three of us then. What's a company? Enrich Green's laughter echoes inside the shrine. There is an awkward pause. Kibala takes a long look at the officers' faces before finally nodding her assent. So be it, but not like this. Much like your faces, you guys are too conspicuous. Kibala is right. It would be prudent to use disguise. The enforcers will produce regular work clothes for us. We'll carry only inconspicuous weapons that we can hide easily in our toolbox. It will help us blend with the crowd. Before I depart to hunt the Nemesite, I ask the Domin to bless me. I pledged never to leave your side, yet the hand demands that I just do that. Grant me this permission by performing the ceremony of twinning. Kibula nods toward the altar. When your people have taken the leave, under the gaze of the Undying One, we'll begin the rite. What is this ceremony? The rite of blessing for the sacred hand. With it, the Domin casts their shadow over the path of carnage. Under your benediction, it will strike harder and thread more softly. Very well, let the ceremony commence. With your permission, Lord Captain, the Infernus Master and I will take our leave now and set our parade for the descent into the chambers. We dare not intrude, your lordship. Sit down now, Dominator of Vox, and listen. Let the ceremony of the twinling begin. Using a finely honed blade, Kibula carves an intricate symbol into the floor. She then produces a small bundle wrapped in incense-laden parchment and sets it alight. You are my Domin. I am your blade, and I am honored by your blessing. My arms are strong, while your will is strong. And as long as the Undying One hears your prayers, my feet will go unheard. Her blade kisses her palm, and dark blood begins to tickle and spread over the bottom of the ritual cup that has just now appeared in her hands. With our blood, with our will, we shall spin a scarlet web, the symbol of the hunt, may it herd our prey demise. Kibula puts the dagger into your hand, and you suddenly feel how heavy your eyelids have become. Your heartbeat slows inside your chest, her wounds linger, then rush through your mind in deluge. The heavy scent of incense envelops you and makes your head spin. Make a small cut on your palm. The pain gives way to a burning sensation as Kibula grasps your hand and squeezes it over the ritual cup. But this new discomfort is quickly replaced again, this time by dull numbness and the faint warmth of the blood flowing from your open wound. The twingling is the blood oath I have made to my lord. Kibula dips her finger in a spilled blood and traces the symbol first on her own forehead, then on yours. It appears to resemble a blade that is cutting through an intricate knot. Anoint me with your blessing, Dominator of Vox, and may the ceremony of twingling commence. Kibula's face blurs before your eyes. No matter how hard you try to focus and dispel the vision, in place of her face you see a death mask, a broken skull with a hollow eye sockets. May your fury and resolve be unshakable. One who follows the thread of the web fights not out of rage, but with a mind as cold as stone. Nevertheless, rage can become a potent weapon in the hands of the Punisher. I understand, Dominator Vox. I accept your blessing. Kibula thinks for a moment. Your body cannot accompany us on this chase, Domin. By your spirit, there is nothing the spirit cannot do. The twinning is complete. You and I now bound by the blood oath. Think of me while I hunt, as will I think of you. Become a thought flowing through my mind. If the Undying One is gracious to us, we will send you dreams, and if those dreams you will see me. If he is more gracious still, those dreams will be truth. I trust you, Kibula. Let us begin. You perceive a faint smile from beneath the death mask. Kibula hands you a cup and begins tracing a finger around the bottom while whispering a prayer. Watch now, Dominator of Vox. What does thy seeing eye behold in the covering patterns of blood? She draws your attention to the symbols she has described. You see shifting images in the blood, a spider crafting a fine web, blurred shadow that could resemble either a swarm of void rats or an angled hound, crossed blades, a card of the Emperor's tarot. But as soon as your gaze lingers on any of them, reality bleeds through the fluid shape. Soon your spirit will be able to follow me. I will bid the servants to carry your body to your chambers, where you will not be disturbed. Wait in the silence and safety for me. The hunt begin. Kibala footsteps fade away, melting into the same impenetrable darkness in which your consciousness is extinguished. Stale air, oppressive noise, the hum and wail of machinery drowns out all thoughts. This place rings with tension. It is the powerful energy cruising through the cables, or have the wails of the workers merge into a cacophony of indignant whispers and desperate prayers. Lost, mired in pretty troubles, I'm mindful of duty. Their voices creak as if converted in rust, and their eyes are dimmed by the endless drowsily and lack of light here on the working decks of the Domin Great Ark. I have seen it before. In these murky depths, people become creatures all too ready to devour each other for worldly gains, fleeting pleasures, or imaginary freedom from obligation born from the abyss of spiritual emptiness. The Undying One punishes them through me. The sky's imitation, abomination, reflection of vice are born in those shadows, and I will be their doom. The thread shakes, the web is taut. I step silently, may the great hunt begin. The thread shakes, the quarry always leave the trail. We may not see it, but we can feel it. I taste the air, the scent of fresh dye with the subtle note of sparks. This is new, pleasant. The upper decks reek of luxury, but here I feel comfortable. There is something else. This is it. I recognize the smell. Ancient Isla and burnt meat, just like the inside of the shrine. The time has come to spin the sacred web. The web is taut, known the hunting ground. I find the enemy. I must listen. Inhale, exhale, inhale. The rhythmic beat of engine and pumps. That is the ship's breathing. That is the ship's heartbeat. It is strange that I feel at home among the workers of the lower decks, who pass their time like the living dead. Warmth thread through my chest. I like to think that it is connection with which the Undying One bound my and the Domin's fates together. He has blessed us, and we hunt as one. I step silently. Darkness is our ally. Merge with the shadows. In the twilight of the chamber, barely illuminated by a flickering candlelight, I became like them, the lost, mired servants. They will become unwitting allies in my hunt. Their hopelessness, their desperation, their thirst for survival will become tools for my use. Footsteps. Two are coming towards me, familiar gates. Those are the Domin servants. I would not be surprised if the cultists set out on the trail of the Nemesite alone. The spinners is arrogant. We are just another soul to them, a gift to offer death. Steel Mistress' voice is hard and cold, like her will. I can see in her eyes that she dislikes me. She is wary, and so she should be, for we serve the Domin, not one another. Does this remind you of anyone, or at all just Jocasta? This man is enamored with the fire. Even his words sound full of biting flames, and he himself enjoys playing with fire, too much so. They bicker again. The mutual animosity may disturb the hunt. Disturb Steel Master. Examine Steel Mistress and Flaming Voice. To the lay people, the two are now scarcely distinguishable from the common serfs. In a world where status and privilege are defined by appearances, a single piece of rotten cloth is enough to lower your standings. We will become spectacular hounds and follow the trail without drawing attention. I am here. There she is. Welcome to the Plasma Drive Chambers, esteemed Holy Assassin. You can exchange pleasantries later. Lieutenant Giodera is on the duty in this compartment. I have ordered her to gather information on all the workers who wear red scarves and who have recently left the bay. This is pointless. The red scarves is not proof of guilt. It is merely a symbol. It could be a trap. I need to find her. I will watch the enforcers and those who are watching her in turn. Your enforcer knows nothing about life in this compartment. I guarantee it. I have a better source of information. A good friend of mine who knows a lot about delicate matters. It would be easy to get him to talk. He's terrified of pain and death. Only the faithless fears death. I will not trust him. Let him trust me, so that his trust may become a snare for my hunt. I cut them off with a gesture. The methods of hunting are not mine, but I take the grain of truth from their words and weave it into my plan. We need to provoke them into making move. Instill a false sense of impunity. Convince them that they can and must act now. This enforcer who answers the Steel Mistress is a symbol of order and obedience in these chambers. She is standing in a way. When she disappears, my enemies will believe it is safe to strike, and that will be a costly mistake. Intimidate them with impediment threat. Flaming Voice relies on Tokka, one who keeps no secret and fears pain. An unreliable vessel is bad for holding secrets, but good for spilling them. Through him I will whisper lies to the enemy. Shroud out the spikes that will ignite the flame. I feel them lurking in the crowd, my enemies. They are cautious. I must fight them and let them believe their luck. Then they will shed their mask and I will take them down. They took me in my silence. They do not understand yet, but that matters little. I am on a hunt. An old burn spread across her body in a scarlet blotch, a look of contentment. A heavy baton covered in blood and symbolizing boundless powers. Like a fierce leather whip, she lashes with both her hands and her grace. Why are you looking at, you beggars? You finish your shift, you go to your barracks. You start your shift, you check in with the foreman and get to work before Matilda comes to pay you on your back. And Matilda, I presume, is this wonderful, not at all intimidating baton on your belt. I guess I would disguise this as working, but I would rather not spend the next few watches in the medbay because of a misunderstanding. His breathing has quickened. Flaming Voice always makes jest when he's nervous or irritated. Do enforcers infuriate him? In fairness, Master? Master at Arms? Apologies for not recognizing you, ma'am. Guidera, are you conducting an inquest? Answer the spinner's question. I hope your report will be useful. Whip, can you scars reveal to me? Whip, what you can you scars reveal to me? Day after day, she watches the serfs labor away, exhausting their last vestiges of strength, and there is no compassion in her eyes. They are simply a resource she is commanded to use and then discard. She hates them because she blames them for her pain, her wounds. Let enforces conveys. I will keep an eye on those around us. The workers hide their eyes, but I can hear the murmurs echoing through the bay. There is an important rage in their hearts directed at Whip, for she is the embodiment of the very order they despise. But why do they not realize that the enforcer is a shield as much as a lash? Some of the people I escorted to the other side looked at me the same way. In the past I did not understand, but now, do the lay people see spinners performing their duty to the Undying One, or enforcers performing they to the domain as monsters? Nothing is unimportant during the hunt. Tell me what you know, and I will listen. A group of workers wearing red scarves were seen in a compartment just after the attack to the on a shrine. The foreman stated that they were at work on the freight line. No gunpowder on the other clothes, no fresh wounds. Too many of them have started wearing red masks, and it muddles the trails. But we also found some red scarves and bloody rags in one of the shredded only shortly afterwards. We sealed off the exit and reduced the air supply to the maintenance tunnel to the absolute minimum. Now you can't stay in there longer than a few minutes without passing out. There is no way that the bastard could have left the plasma chamber. They are definitely in here somewhere. Like snakes, the servants and Nemesites have shed their skin. The red scarf is just a distraction. Do I sense the touch of his will? The undying Emperor wishes to bestow a revelation upon me in this trying hour. Let his turret show me the way. I breathe in essence made from the ashes and blood of the faithful. It enlightens the minds, granting in the grace of reading his sights. A wave of epiphany sweeps my thoughts away, pulling me into a blessed trance. My fingers move of their own accord over the sacred deck and draw a card. It is the martyr. I see the tear of blood wash over the pale features in the image, and they shift, becoming Wisp's face. A portent from him, the Undying One blessed me to take Whip. The minions of Nemesites fear her. When her soul is delivered to the Undying One, the traitors will feel invulnerable. They will crawl out of their holes and fall into the web. I know how Whip's thread will end. I cannot sever Whip's thread with a blade, for the serfs would recognize me as one of the spinners and lose all courage, but the spark of the machine spirits in the plasma drive chambers has already claimed the lives of many. I will use this, and thus the web will spun.
No sleep, no rest. Only duty, only death. An offering of blood. There is only death, yours or mine. My visions showed this path, and many others. Fortune smiles on us, an ill omen. Death walks with me.
Long time no see, Spindle. Tell me, what does silence taste like? Are they using a secret code? Without flaming voice, he would never even speak to me. Everybody knows silence doesn't taste like anything. If you wanna earn rations, you better start dealing in words. He speaks casually, but his voice is slimy and slippery. His eyes are as dirty as an oil-stained garment. The impudence in his gaze and words when he turns them to us. He's unclean and he knows it. He's unrepentant. This is a funny look, Enrich, and you have a funny looking company. Are you here to sell or to buy? And before you answer, remind the first rule: every word has a price. Are we bargaining for information with these lowlifes now? It is the duty of every serf to aid the rogue trader and his associates, freely and willingly. Oh boy, here he comes. Who's that with you? An enforcer? And a spinner? Do you want me dead? If anyone sees me talking to you, they'll snap my neck. So off you go. The padder of the words is trembling in fear for his life. I must extract answer from him, but by what means? The quelling stimulant on the needle's tip will loosen Stain's tongue. What is the feeling so calm? Fine, ask whatever you want, but then leave. My reputation cost me a lot of blood, and I didn't earn it to have it trampled into dust because you people happened to stop by. One glance is enough for me to see your true self, Stain. You are a liar and manipulator, peddling other people's secrets and not knowing how to keep your mouth shut. You will become the bait, sowing confusion among the minions of Nemesis who hope to wait out of the lockdown. They think they have enough time. I will deprive them of that sacrifice. Where do you think stand in the plasma drive chambers? Speak briefly, speak sense. Where do things stand? We just had an enforcer die. I swear she did it to herself. Stepped right on the wire and ripped up the machine spirit. You lot, be careful now. There is a bunch of workers in here far corner who now gather between every shift whispering to each other. They didn't invite me. They say I talk too much. Well, if there is a sacred... if they are scared of my tongue, that means they have something to hide. And of course, everyone's talking about Nemesis. Sure, the foundry and the chapel were big, but he's been helping people all over. A lot of folks are sticking with him now. You can knock my teeth out if I'm lying. Don't got many to lose left anyhow. But I'll tell you this: even if someone hides him, they won't rat him out. There'll be a raid soon. Be careful. I warn you in appreciation for your cooperative nature. What are you? The informant is not meant to hear for his... The informant is not meant... This information is not meant for his ears. Really? I see. Well, if that's all you wanted, then I can go? Go, Stain, and be my herald. It is difficult to admit, but I do share the Master Ram's indigestion. We came here to gain information about the traitors, not to reveal our secrets. reveal the truth to the enemy and they will harm themselves with it. I just hope the wisdom of the Bloodspawn web won't cost us.
Follow my steps.
The lay people are huddled together in a pile of sweltering bodies, filthy and betrayed by the enforcer's buttons, reeking of sweat and disease. Their hearts pump blood faster and faster through bulging veins as two of them send red-hot sparks into the air with their words like a hammer and anvil. Your plan appears to have worked, Spinner. The air itself is charged with something and did not the conductive charge. The serve, they are stirring. Listen. The lay people are frightened, angry. They feel the impunity that's sprouting like a weed upon whipped demise. They feel the threat crushing them from the upper decks, both imminent and inevitable. What are those two talking about, hammer and anvil? The enforcer is dead and punishers from the upper deck will soon follow Nemesis's trail. This is our chance, we need to act. This is it, he can sense that the prey is close. They have little fear of giving themselves away anymore. They need a spark to ignite the flames. Something that will convince Nemesite followers that they are strong and that the dominant servants are diminished. Wait for the right moment and then light spark. Then tell us that this is how it meant to be. Just because they were born out of the upper decks and we down below in the darkness, it is really the God Emperor's will that they grow fat and the fruits of our labor, revel in luxury while we die without water on Medicaid. Hammer's voice rumbles and the layperson listen, their hands clench into fists. No matter how hard you work, they will write everything out of you and give you nothing. Who allowed this to happen? The rogue trader, his name be damned. A Grox of the throne. A Taran throwing our bones in the furnace of the Protectorate. Shut your foul mouth, void dog, flaming voice. No, it is too soon. I understand your anger, but you must temper it. What did you say about the Lord Captain? The one who gives you work, food and shelter, you insolent deadbeats. I can see why you have gathered here, and I will not let you start another rebellion. Why are you reaching for your Voxcaster? If you do not disperse, I will give the order to vent the plasma chambers. You have 5 seconds. 4. The tyrant lucky. If you do this, you will die with us, you madman. To protect the Lord Captain and the crew, I see you never met an infernus before. The faces are twisting with fear. Will they retreat? Will they flee? Will their hand be thwarted? No. A small throw blade flies out of my palm and draws a scarlet line across Anvil's neck. If I had wished it, she would be dead, but she continues to breathe and bleed, and to scream furiously as she looks for me. The rogue trader's assassins are here. Look, they wanted to kill me. Find an assassin. The lay people press in front, all sides pushing and shoving. Their faces are ablaze with terror and rage, and a violent, angry bolts through the masses of bodies. This power will be difficult to contain. Frightened people are dangerous people. The hand was meant to go differently, but such is the Undying's will. One voice raises above the others, the voice of burly, bearded technomant, low as the roar of the furnace. Furnace smells of sweat and sacred urgent. He is not afraid, he merely pretends to be. Beneath the shudder of terror, I hear excitement. Do we deserve to be executed, my brothers and sisters? Have we not labored with the sweat of our brow? Have we not perished from the outbursts of raging machine spirits? Why do they call us rebels? Why are we being punished? Fenner's words made the crowd seethe even more. Take a closer look at the furnace. Strong, heavy, enormous hands whose blows shudder be feared. A great belly that has become a symbol of his success. He does not starve, so those who follow him will not starve either. A powerful leader, recognized by a whole pack. Feel the rage. The flame bursts high, for there is a strong fuel at his heart. The people have amassed many grievances. The enforcers are cruel to them, for they believe that fear eradicates treason. The officers despise them for their clothes and the hands are filthy. The quartermasters rob them and withhold what is owed to them, for their clan is not strong enough to make demands. They are vulnerable. Their hearts are vulnerable. The Undying One commands us to spin a web to catch such hearts before they plunge into the abyss of treason, and so I am spinning the web. But there is something else mixed into the righteous indignation, something that taunts them, excites them, angers them. It is something foul hovering in the air. Aberration. Think about Demon. In my thoughts to him, because it's his people that are standing before me, what would he do? The one whose thread I anoint with my blood. We should be grateful with having been blessed with both toil and injury. Who would you be without them? Nothing but worthless rabble. My words frighten them, wound them, because they are just, and that makes their anger swell all the more. Why are you surprised? Have the officer ever treated us otherwise? A new voice, sandpaper rough, tears through the rumbling of the crowd. Its owner is ragged and filthy, and a feverish gleam burns in his eyes. His words inflame the people's minds like rot festering upon a wound. Rot cries out mockingly. That's because you are afraid of them, but they are not afraid of you. They have almighty baton. All you have is the source of the power that feeds the whole ship. Why shouldn't they take it for granted? It saves you right, you cowards. His ugly shriek spills like a venom upon sweating faces and as they slowly draw closer and closer. Sense the smell hanging over the crowd. I take a deep breath and something stupefying, noxious and luscious disturb my senses. This is no ordinary odor, but something subtle and foul. It carries the same stench as rot. Skinny and scrawly, Rot leers at me with his gaping mouth. He is a nobody who has nothing. His body has wasted away from disease. His hands are 5 fingers short. His fate is sealed, and that make him convincing. Everyone knows he has nothing to gain for himself, and there is no reason to lie. His poverty is his armor. The Domit takes care of all, for such is the burden. His seditious words have been heard and will not be forgotten. I hereby chastise this compartment for its profane thoughts. That's right. Deal with it, you lowlights. They are not afraid of you. Rod's voice seems out of place in the hanging silence, sounding foreign, bereft of power. The word on punishment has returned a shred of reason to the minds of the workers. For all it should be. Insolence has been followed by retribution. The words make sense once more and is no longer frightening. We will not commit rebellion, but we will not allow ourselves to be slaughtered by villains either. The law and the Emperor are on our side. A young woman steps forward, slender and subtle like a rapier. If they want to crush us with the fear of death, let them kill us. It will only prove our righteousness. The ring call is a command, pressing itself into their hearts. The foul stench of sacrilege almost knocks me off my feet. sense the fetid stench of blasphemy. That tantalizing, elusive stench of rage. It is more than stench, it is the tool, the weapon of the depictable trio which they use to influence the minds of the laity, invisibility intoxicating their minds. The crowds reek of flowering treason. I delve down to its roots and realize what it is that rejects his will so. His sacred privilege is being attacked. He alone chooses who may journey to him, but these three instigators, they are determined to make this decision for themselves, dragging the souls of all around into the fires of violence with them. They are impudent upstarts who have put themselves above him, and above me, the second spinner of the bloodspun web, his chosen servant. The realization of such audacity bends my very soul. Death will claim you all, but not today, unless you are truly keen to meet its embrace. The crowd does not answer, they do not hear me. The sacred promise of death is no longer moves them, for they have fallen under the enemy's spell. They surround me, threatening, pointing fingers, cursing. They do not strike, not yet, but already the enforcing bulk press down upon me as the smell of blood in the air grows thicker by the nature. I lose myself in dance of blood. I can bear it no longer. The blades in my hands sing and the blunt streak across the astonishing faces. I am done speaking and extorting. I am merely dance on the threads that have spun. I bestow death and blessed wounds. I catch a glimpse of rapier cloven face, and furnace opens belly. Wrought severed hands fall to my feet, and its owner flees howling. I dance and breathe so freely. I did not get the way I had planned. The smell of blood lingers in the air like its stench of impending defeat. Two bodies are sprawled before me. I have served their threads. The third blasphemer has managed to escape, but his dismounted hand also lies on the floor. Useless meat. Thought of them in Dominer's Vox crowd my mind. Irrelevant and harmful thoughts they are in the sacred moment. I do not immediately realize how foreign they are to the here and now. Why am I thinking about him? What can his corpses reveal to me? Very little. The faint traces of the vile mutation that twists her bodies, the foul stench of corruption emanating from their meat, the deformed, stangey-coloured brains in their crushed skull that sprawl the heresy station. All the appearance of the survivors stir me. They harden in their corners, ashamed of their own subservience. They try to convince themselves that the blood they foolishly spilled would absolve them, but they know it is not enough. Are the flaming voices of steel and the steel mistress still alive? The threads have not been cut. I realize with astonishment that they are standing closer to me, flaming voices furiously approaching all those who had only recently joined the revolt, while steel mistress booms like a siren, shaking her maul and threatening punishment. They are useless to the hunt now. It's time for the next step. A thrill runs through the stands of my consciousness. It is Dominer of Vox. Can I truly feel him again, or am I imagining it? I need to concentrate. I gaze at the puddles of blood and the patterns they form. I see a labyrinth. The Undying One has given me a sign. My hand finds the sealed case in which his tarot cards reside. It is the time for divination in the blood of the deed. It will reveal to me the name of the unholy master. Thoughts of Dominer of Vox creeps up from the shadows and leap at my focused mind like a predator. They claw at, robbing me on my concentration. Why I must not think about him. I must not wish for him to be near me right now. Suffering will banish all the besets the labyrinths. The knife renews the vows inscribed on my skin. There is no pain now, for I am beyond this, but the memory of the stills clears my mind. A stream of blood gusts across the floor and his tarot cards lie on a carmine splatter. Everyone is silent and stares at me. I am reading the omen. I draw the beginning of the spread. The Hound. I gaze at the card and at the depiction of the Astra Militarium armored vehicle that bears that formidable name. The pursuit of truth, sacrifice and victory. This is me, and I'm on the right track. I draw the Heart. The Harlequin. Inverted. Lies, manipulation and shadow play blocking my path, but is a lie exposed and deception that must be revealed. I draw the End. The Preacher, a man who carries the idea of and proclaims it. But who is it? Nemesis? One of his supporters? Someone already slain? Or someone still alive? The divination is unclear, and so I draw a forecast. It is dangerous to ask more of the Undying One, but I must know. The Aquila, his holy image watches me from within the card, and my heart grows frigid with the knowledge of what it represents. The Undying One has manifested his omen in the traitor's blood. The hunt that has begun will be completed by the unveiling of the great deception. Our enemy is elusive because he has a powerful ally, one who espouses faith in the Emperor on his vessel. The ship confessor is the League of Nemesis. He will be the next prey. I should be thinking about the hunt, and yet my thoughts now lie only with a moment when I will stand before them in Nero's Vox once more and tell him what I have seen. Will he be proud of me? Will he be pleased? This is wrong. Kibala extends a finger topped with the metal claw towards Confessor Adalbert. Divination had revealed that you stand beside the enemy Nemesis. Speak only the truth before the Domin and the Undying One. Adalbert meets Kibala's words calmly with almost majestic resignation. A defender of the people and a tyrant minion are two faithful servants of opposing ideas. Two souls that have rejected everything else for the sake of duty. I now truly see that your collision with him was inevitable. Adalbert shifts his gaze in you and lets out a mournful sign. I was warned about your visit, Nero's Vox, as well as its purpose. Who alerted you to my visit? My son, the protector of those whose blood you feed upon, whose hard work has paid for your content's life and upper decks on the ship. I demand explanation, Confessor, this instant. You pet tormentor who exalts death is right. I know Nemesis, and I assisted him. Just like him, I am your enemy, Nero Vox. Adalbert raises his voice, and in a soft tenor, you hear notes of accusation as deep as rolling thunder. And I'm also an enemy of your cruel regime, where life is dirt under an enforcer's feet, where a man has nothing to eat, writes in fear, and knows no hope. Soeba clenches her fist until her knuckles crouch. You treasonous impostor, to think I listened to your sermons and was anointed by your hand. You will choke on your words along with the teeth I am about to knock out. Adalbert dignifies her with neither a word nor a glance. And you were so good at moaning about the servants he killed. I grieve for them, but they were unreliable. They could have compromised us. They had to die, but the fault for the death lies with you and your enforcer dogs, for fear of whom we are forced to hide. Face the facts, you are not champion of justice, you are a manipulator who raised himself by standing on the corpses of others. I am not judging you. On the contrary, I could use a man of such talents. Together we can accomplish a great deal. He shakes his head, looking crestfallen. I am almost pity you. Such a blind conviction, such nothing matters more than power. Our proof that not everyone is flawed as you. Do you serve Nemesis or do you command him? I follow him as he once followed me. Nemesis is my son. If not my blood, then I spilled. I took him in as a willful child, and I fostered the best in him. A passion for justice, the indomitable flame of fighter, and undying determination. I have been preparing him for years. You have raised a living instrument that serves a purpose without question. Kibala speaks cautiously, as if not entirely sure of a judgment. Such is his purpose, to be the hope, to break the shackles, to end the centuries of torment that have passed aboard the ship. A great sacrifice for the great cause. He falls silent, looking at Kibala expectantly. You should be familiar with this way, except that instead of sour of freedom, you were raised to be executioner's sword. What else were you lying about? One last confession. Why not? He frowns and pulls back his collar as if he were short of breath. I am not Adalbert. That was the name of the initiate from the clan of confessors who passed away from disease many years ago. I was born in squalor of a lower decks and at the behest of the Euphlates, and if he wanted to add something else. And if was by the Emperor command, and I took Abelard's place through deception pretending to be him, the dead man had inherited much influence and many thrones from his clan, which hastened my successful rise through the ranks. But it was not for wealth and power that I did this. I accepted the burden of hard work to empower the common people, to pave the way for liberation from oppression and injustice. And my part is almost done. Kibala whispers to you. I sense no lie in his voice or bearing the Dominier's vox. He feels and welcomes death with open arms. The moment favors us. We must learn more. He who betrayed his oath will not deliver. Nemesis to us, but from his words we may divide knowledge of our enemy. How did your deception go unnoticed? You were not there for those years of pestilence. Confessor attended every deck and died in multitudes. New ministers were recruited in every port, at every station. Their names and faces blurred together, and we recognize our kin only by their robes. No one knew about its true face survived that time. The Emperor saved me from being exposed. Your liberation is rooted in betrayal and bloodshed. This is war, Nero Vox, the war for our liberation, and we are willing to die and kill for it, because our enemy is brutal and deaf to our pleas. You have deserved it. He resolutely places his hand over his heart. Sauerbach reacts to his gesture with due suspicion, sharply gripping her weapon, prepared to eliminate any further threats. So Nemesis is just a man. Excellent. It's harder to kill a legend. The words of tyrant inebriated with power and impunity. He smiles bitterly. Nemesis is an idea, and you have the arrogance to believe you can kill an idea made flesh. It is better this way, so keep underestimating him. Die. You seem to have mistaken my humility in face of death for submission. Adalbert smiles weakly. It is not for you to decide my fate. I will make the choice myself. I will surrender my life to the fight for our future. I will die, but I will take you with me. He clicks his fingers, and the initiates who have been standing humbly around turns to your direction, and the wide robes opening to reveal a variety of weapons. For Nemesis' brothers and sisters, for freedom. Lord Captain, this is an ambush. They have been waiting for us. Cerbrak shout hits your ears, drowning out hurried footsteps and the clanking of gun plasteel.
Here we go again.
Repent or perish!
I am a navigator, not a servitor. If I may, I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
Will do. Be gone. But of course. Was it you? Or... Ah! On it.
We bring deliverance.
Damage to bulk. Only the faithful will ascend. The true believers will inherit all. The angel will reward us. Prepare the way for ascension! Ruin beckons. Your help suffices. One step closer. Advancing. The scriptural prognosis is favorable. Cogitation fails. My vow is to serve.
My reckoning will be swift. I move swiftly to strike. If it serves your cause. I am not your Xenos pet monkey. If I must. This tedium is beneath. If it serves your cause, I deal death with my hands.
Cover me.
Aim for the heart next time. I shall not caught by the web. The shadows will see it done.
As the tenants demand. As honor ordains. Trust with me. I shall not fail. My blade whispers your name. As honor ordains.
We bring deliverance. The Sire's song guides me.
You will pay an even greater price.
We bring deliverance. Only the faithful will ascend. High momentum.
Isn't this a job for the stars? Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Will do. What an unfortunate turn of fate. Anything else? They who discern the future own the battlefield. Will do. Voices will join my whispering choir.
Oh, the Blessed One won't fall. Your aid was acknowledged. Purpose guides me. I will triumph. The ruin beckons.
Request approved. The Omniscient knows all, comprehends all. Request approved. Mission successfully terminated.
Another soul slips beyond the veil. I understand your intent. If I must. That is beneath me. This tedium is beneath me. I hear you moving, no more.
Failed me.
The battle is over, and silence descends once again upon the chapel. Flakes of ash really quiet in the air before coming to rest on the blood trickling slowly across the floor. You ought to use this Demon Nero's Vox. Kibala leans over the confessor's body and slices off the edge of his collar with her blade, revealing a tiny scar on the back of his neck. It looks like it's the one of the captured workers in the plasma drive chamber had, except that this one is clearly healed a long time ago. So he was connected to the genetic aberration as well. Delightful. We now know much about the enemy. Kibala ponderously runs her fingers along the flat of a blade, about just how deep the poison of conspiracy runs through the veins of the ship, but the Bloodspoon web has warped itself around its bay too tightly. The Nemesite no longer hope to escape. Her ruminations are interrupted by a furious hiss. Sauerbach snarls a curse through her teeth and spits at Adalbert's smoking remains. Her left arm hangs limp and her face is mingled by shrapnel. "Look, Captain, we have a prisoner." She points her weapons at the man standing hunched over his pain. Permission to finish off the cur. Down with the tyrant. The blood-shotted initiate, who calls himself Ziek, clutches a deep wound, glared at you with hatred. "I have questions for you. I dab you like the answers. Were you serving Nemesite for cause of simply for money?" Ziek flashes you with a bloody grin. "He promises freedom." "Where is his hideout?" Even the confessor didn't know where he is. He was afraid of spies or of giving his son's secrets away under torture. You see, he can't get to our champion. "Are there any others, senior officer, helping you?" "Officers, there is no one else among them who is pure. They only care about power and gorging themselves on the scraps you throw them, or else they would have long since turned against you." Ziek can barely finish the sentence before he is bested by a torrent of gargling cough. "How many more of you miniatures are hiding on my ship? I want to know your names. I want to know where you meet, everything." The confessor said every compartment has people who fight for our cause. They promised to take me into the circle of our most devoted believers. Then I would know, but even then I would tell you nothing, not even under torture. They were waiting for us. It was a trap. "Yes, Lord Captain. Adalbert has been warned, yet he chose not to flee. Instead, he stayed behind to set a trap for us. Did he really believe his madness would succeed and he would somehow survive?" "He did not want to survive. His only hope was to kill." Nemesite managed to turn his adoptive father into a blade pointing squarely at the Domin's throat, just as Adalbert himself had once turned Nemesite into a weapon. Neither of them feared death. Devoured minds twist and beat. Sauerbach frowns with worry. "I have been going through my predecessor's archive recently, and I may have an idea as to what manner of creature the Nemesite is. We are dealing with Kellermorph, a special variety of mutant filth in service of genetic cults. These creatures are made and raised to play the part of the people's leader and inspiration for the mutinous rabble. The Kelpermorph purpose is to sow disorder and use the rebellion to eliminate the ruling elite, who might find capable of opposing the Xenos. Now let's decide your fate." "Do not kill him in vain," Kibala shake her head. "Those who follow the tenets of Web knows that, just as we serve death, so too does it serve us. Allow the death of this man become an instrument in your hands, Dominer of Vox. Pass off the traitor body as the Nemesite. Instill fear in his supporters. The enemy will be forced to act to undo his deception, exposing himself in the process." What would that accomplish? All warriors fight for something, being the fame, life, wealth of their loved ones. Nemesite cares nothing for these things. He sacrifices kin, scorns glory, and amasses no riches. I am sure he would gladly give up his own life if necessary. Nemesites fight for an idea, and so this is where we must strike. Make his idea bleed, and he will be obliged to respond, and whoever is forced to react insists of acting dies. This monkey makes her trap deftly, with sharp edges and relentless bonds. Yet once again, she uses blood and death, not as a hunter, but as a killer. We'll do as Kibala proposes. We'll make certain that the lower decks believe the hero is to be dead. We'll leave the body to hang for a good long while that he hopes the mutineers may rot amongst with other corpses. This is one traitor dealt with, Lord Captain, but how many more have been poised by the Fourth Confessor's heresy? A new spiritual shepherd must be appointed quickly to banish any mutinous thoughts sworn by the traitor from the minds of the crew and to strengthen the faith and obedience. Without the ship confessor, the rabble will begin to whisper that the Emperor has forsaken us, and such doubts will only play into the rebels' hands. Appoint a loyal crew member who is known for the strength of the faith, someone the children of the Void will recognize as their own. We do not want any outsiders. As you command, I will order the chapel be restored as well. I will send agents to every deck. The next time Nemesis raises his head, which I'm certain will happen sooner rather than later, we'll be one step ahead of him and not other way around. Sauerbach staggers away and you gaze turns to the motionless Kibala, staring at your own reflection with the pool. Something wrong? I'm thinking about Nemesis, my adversary. The more I learn about him, the more I see the vague reflection of myself. A twisted reflection perhaps, but all too familiar. Like me, he was forced to thread the paths of servitude from an early age, stripped of anything that might stand in the way of the duty. A champion and a zealot left with nothing but an idea, forged and tempered by his mentor. You are different. He is a murderer, but you understand the true value of human's death. This is true. Like a puppeteer, he pulls at the threads of other people's destinies, tangling and serving them. When I cut these threads, it is only as the Undying One commands, with timely precision. I must stop Nemesis so that I must save your subject from premature death. She looks away, but then turns back as if remembering something. Domin Nero Vox, our conversation is not yet over. Please stay with me for a few moments. There is something I want to ask. Kibala makes a ritual gesture, but you notice her fingers tremble. Domin Nerus Vox, you need to know about what happened. You and no one else. During the divination that reveals Adalbert's betrayal to me, my trance was interrupted. Instead of converging to a single point, my thoughts were thrown off to the intended path and I lost my thread. She looks up at you with distress in her eyes. What distracted me were thought of you. You were thinking about me? Your image intruded upon my mind when it was supposed to act as a blade seeking its target, when all of my being was focused on fulfilling my duty. My trance was broken and I committed an offense against the Undying One. I was able to restore my trance and banish all thoughts that didn't belong. But that this happened at all is still wrong, worrying, she pauses. You are dear to me, more so than I first realized. But your duty is to serve the Undying One. What if, she falters then looks on you intently, what if your presence in my mind, in my labyrinth, goes against the tenets? Thinking about someone you hold dear is perfectly normal. You don't understand. It may be normal for lay people, but not within the Bloodspawn. Not for me. If I lose control of what makes me a faultless weapon, then what will be left of me? Domin Nero Vox, our fates are connected. We walk the same labyrinth. Tell me, what would you do if your mind's worries were to dull your resolve and mar your spirit? I refuse to answer that question. But, she exclaims before momentarily falling silent, her glare bursts into you. But then her expression shifts. I understand. The tenants are not your destiny. You cannot tell me what to do. We may walk the same labyrinth, but I must find the path myself. Forgive me, and thank you for your lesson. I am so used to relying on the Vizier's teachings that when faced with the obstacle he did not warn me about, my instincts to seek advice from others. Kibala touches your chest. Thank you for letting me pick myself up, Nero Fox. Hibala gives you a look of painful doubt and tenderness. Enough. Let's go back. Before she turns and leaves, her fingers wrap around your hand and squeeze passionately.
Stop it!
What is it?
The world trembles beneath my feet.